many of you are learned people, and I just want to learn together. A few things that I picked up from Rabbi Nachman and from Chazal, dealing with the topic of the little versus the many. This is we're coming to the days of Hanukkah, and the little supposedly are not going to make it, right? And the many are more powerful, and it's supposed to get the battle done, and that's it. But we see that it's not the case. It's not the case. Just even take a look at the Ukraine and Russia war. The Ukrainians what do they have compared to the Russian Empire, whatever it is? It's like.
If you've been there, we know
see how they defeat them. Why? Because they're full of. They are loyal to the truth, to their how do you say, to their
to the country?
To
the country?
They're loyal to the country, and they know that if they're going to be conquered, they're going to lose their freedom, because the whole thing over there is to force the Russian philosophy upon the Ukrainians. They don't want that, so they fight for their life, and the Russians are fighting for who knows for what. They even don't know for what.
Under orders.
Under orders. How far can you go under orders? Kimat klum. So we see that there's. We're not sure what's going to happen yet, but still there's a tremendous power. Chazal are teaching us that the Midah Tova meruba pi 500 from Midas Puranus. If there's a negative kind of behavior or a negative curse, chas v'shalom, then a positive blessing is 500 times greater than the Midah Puranus. 500 times. For example, if somebody is facing many people come and talk about Ain Hara. He is afraid his neighbor is causing him evil eye. So the one blessing is more powerful, 500, than the negative issues. I asked once Rav Koenig about it. He says to me that we don't believe in that. אנחנו לא מאמינים בזה. It could be there. The Gemara points out that if someone does not care for the evil eye, it's not going to bother him whatsoever. Bichlad, nothing. It's up to you to decide if you believe in that or not believe in that. So you can get away from it. That's it. It's Chazal. If you have a candle, one candle can light up the big space. If there's a total darkness, one candle is a strong light. Just one little candle. There's an expression, ner le'echad, ner le'mea. Like a candle can pour light for one person, it can pour light for 100 people too. It's the little thing is that has some kind of a hashpah, kind of an impression that, for example, the Zohar talks about the tefillah le'ani. Tefillah le'ani means the tefillah of the poor. Chazal are teaching, ein ani ela min hadas, person who doesn't have so much knowledge, he considered to be a poor person. So, but ani is like what the David HaMelech means to say tefillah le'ani. That means that he's the poor who's have nothing, and when he davens, Hashem takes all the prayers that were not answered until now, with the schus of that tefillah of that poor man who really suffers. When he prays from the depth of his heart, and he lifts over all the tefillahs that were not able to come up in the merit of this ani. Nachal also teaches us in a certain, and I can't remember where, that if we had many prayers that were not accepted, didn't raise up, didn't go up, there could be a case that one prayer, one good prayer that we have, pulls up all the prayers that were not accepted, were not stayed down here. So again, we see the concept of just a little thing can cause a big impact. When we have tsuris, sorrows, things doesn't go right. One simcha, one good occasion changes the whole thing. What happened to your problems? So you had a baby boy, a baby girl, you had whatever you had, a bar mitzvah. What happened to your problems? You see, the bar simcha hardly eats in every simcha. Right? They sit where they are. They don't need to eat. They're full of. It's an aspect of that thing that lifts, that makes you. There is a concept of machshavot tovot, good thoughts. The good thoughts are actually yetzer machshavot libo. The thoughts are in the heart. The heart have two sections, and Rabbi Nachman writes over here that the heart is the tzayar. He draws the midas, and when Hashem created man, it says vayitzer. Hashem created the vayitzer. Hashem created. The Torah writes vayitzer with two yudim, which represent the two yetzarim, yetzer tov and yetzer hara. And Rabbi Nachman here brings a very important concept. Hainu, machshavot tovot and yetzer tov. The good thoughts that you have, remember, always come from the yetzer tov. Umachshavot raot, the evil thoughts, the bad thoughts, and yetzer hara. So it's very simple now to define. It's one line over here. But very easy to define. When you have bad thoughts, remember what's the source of the bad thoughts. It's not the Yetzer Tov, the Yetzer Hara. So if you have something negative that comes like fear, you're concerned about something that bothers you, that you cannot be happy about it. It pushes you to the corner. You become depressed. You become sad. You become whatever it is. Those bad thoughts, remember, they're not coming from your friend. They're coming from your enemy, just the confusions in the heart. So that's the bad thought. So there never should be a place for bad thoughts in our day-to-day life, because they're coming from the Yetzer Hara. If we know that, so we're free to go, not to listen to the bad thoughts.
And this is in our dream thing, right? This is,
yeah. When we're alive.
Our dream, because we say the bedtime Shema, and we say during we do deckoning and all that. So
it's when you live your life during the day. During the day, whatever happens to you, you bump into issues, problems, whatever it is, or even things you have to take care of. But the negative thoughts would come from the Yetzer Hara. And then we shouldn't listen to them, to those thoughts, not to pay attention, not to think that here comes the truth. He's revealing the truth to me that whatever is going to be worse. No. So when a person have bad thoughts, the midas are being formed on a negative way. So you should always remember that the power of the good thoughts is stronger than the bad thoughts. Rabbi Nachal brings in an idea when the empires in the Roman times, they used to have the Colosseums, and where they used to have fightings between animals, an ox or a lion, and just like the emperors would enjoy the battles between the animals, and when the specific animal wins, so they have an enjoyment from that. Same thing Hashem enjoys when we have bad thoughts and good thoughts, and we're overpowering the good thoughts over the bad thoughts. Hashem draw pleasure from that, from me fighting and succeeding to push away the bad thought. It's like another kind of a challenge. It's a kind of a game. Just you have to remember the bad thoughts are not for me. They're not something that. Or another example, if we have, we had an argument with someone at the house, at the business, at the shul, doesn't matter. The argument can go a long time. But then comes one word of peace, of shalom. Shalom comes in within a second. Well, the whole history is erased. Now you're good again. So it shows that the evil, the negative, is not real. Because if you, when one blow, it goes away. So where was it? What was it? But it takes power at the time of the difficulty. It always takes power. So, but again, same with Averis. A person can do the wrongdoing all his life. Many Averis. One tshuva erases everything. One day of the year, Yom Kippur. We fast. We don't eat. We don't drink. We don't wear shoes. We become like angels. We ask forgiveness. Hashem forgives. And the Zohar is highly recommending to deal with the to be Mared Chushbana, how he calls it. Mared Chushbana, the Baal HaCheshbon, to make cheshbon at the end of the day. When a person makes cheshbon at night, how was my day today? What did I do wrong? And I want to repair, and I do tshuva, I ask forgiveness, then he's not going to be punished. It's not going to be, if he asks forgiveness be'emet, it's a whole, Mared Chushbana, it's a huge quality. Rabbi Nachal explains the concept of Chazal. Chazal are teaching, sheyesh din lemata, ein din lemala. When there's judgment down here, there's no judgment upwards. Means to say, when I am giving a report of my actions throughout the day, the week, the month, the year, there's no place of judgment upwards anymore. Because I've taken care of the matter, of the issue. The issue is solved. I did it. I honestly asked forgiveness. I'm asked mechila. There's an interesting concept that is being repeated every year. But the last 7 days of the year, if we take the last Sunday of the year, it is known that if a person is concentrating on that Sunday and really work on himself and do the tshuva that he requires, he can clear all the Sundays of the previous year, of the past year. And that's how he can do with Monday. All Mondays of the year are being cleared.
This is the last week?
Last week of the year, yes. It's brought in Sifrei Chasidus. Beautiful. Again, not that we are doing the wrong things on the account that we're going to Omer echtav yashuv, the ones that I'm going to sin and ask mechila, en maspikim beyado lasot tshuva. He's not being honored with the perspective of tshuva, because he's like making over a game over here. But if you're honest, if you're sincere, Hashem is not standing on our head with a hammer. Hashem wants us. He understands that we're being thrown to a very hard world, a very difficult world over here. The challenges are enormous. The difficulties are, who can tell? Everybody can tell. And he understands. Hashem understands. And if we stumble, if we fail, it's not the end of the world. There's tshuva. Tshuva repairs. And if you think take an example of the times of when was that? The time of before Noach, I think. Before Noach, when angels came down. The Torah talks about it in the Parshas.
The Bnei
Bnei Elokim.
Yeah, right.
ויראו בני אלוקים את בנות האדם כי טויבס הנה, they are good looking, and they sinned. We're talking about angels over here. The angels came down from Shammai. They couldn't cope with the earthly desires that we are facing every day. So is there a demand if somebody stumbles, somebody messes up? Hardly not. But it's more surely that people would not stand the challenge and fail. So if we can stand still against all the taivas, against all the wrong things that we are facing, and we're winning every day. There are many victories, many battles that we win every day. Just look at your day. Look how many times you've been able to suppress your anger about someone. How many times you were generous to some other people. How many times you were facing a challenge if to have a few dollars from the side. We never touched it. Is it like something easy? Yeah, for us it's not. We don't do that because we're good. We're loyal to Hashem's Torah. The same concept goes for the 12 last days of the year. That every day represent 1 month. So you take 12 days before Rosh Hashanah, and you start dealing with every month of the year. Let's say it's a kaf. Let's say that Yud Chet is it? Yud Chet. Elul. No, Yud Chet. 12 is like.
What Yud Tes is if Lamed is there, Erev
Yeah.
Hashanah.
Okay. Then so Yud Tet takes care of the month of Tishrei, and the Chaf Elul will take care of Cheshvan. And again, it's like a. It's little, how to say, mufshat, not physically understood, but still there's a concept of preparing with them. Just as a, and what about Shabbos? Shabbos is the matana atzuma. Shabbos is the Midrash brings down that Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Matana toiva yeshli bevez gnazai. I have a good present in my treasure house. For Shabbos Shema, the name of that present is Shabbos. Birtzoni letita l'Israel. I want to give it over to Israel. Lech ve'odiam. Go ahead and let them know that there is Shabbos in the world. I'm going to give it to them. So Shabbos is a matana toiva from the treasure house of God. Can you imagine how does it look? You have a treasure house, right? Each one of us has like a little safe, whatever he keeps his jewelry, money that he can get every now and again. And what about the treasure house of the city or the bank? It's a bigger one, right? The cellars are full of gold. And what about the treasure house of the minister of the prime minister over here of the country? And the rich guys, the real rich guys have like. So this is like nothing comparing to the treasure house that Hashem has. And from that treasure house that Hashem has, He chose Matana Toiva, one of the best gifts that He have, and that's Shabbos. So Shabbos is a beautiful gift if we should cherish Shabbos and wait for Shabbos and understand that Shabbos can lit up our life completely. We're going to be different people, Bichlan, different people, Gamra. The Shabbos, we're saying in his mirrors, Kechala, like a bride, ben reosea meshubatza. One of these mirrors, the bride in the middle between her maids is like shibutz, like
Set.
set. Shabbos is set, and Shabbos actually reflects. We used to think about Shabbos as the end of the week, but let's now take Shabbos in the middle, and before Shabbos is Friday, and Thursday and Wednesday, and after Shabbos is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And that means that when Wednesday comes in, that's how it says in the Sforim, that when Wednesday comes in, we receive the extra portion of the nefesh from the next Shabbos. And then when Thursday comes in, we get the extra portion of ruach from the Shabbos, which is going to come very soon. And then Friday, we get the extra portion of neshama, yetera, from Shabbos at night. And then Shabbos comes with the neshama yetera, the whole concept of the extra portion of ruchnis that we receive. And then on Sunday, the extra portion of neshama goes away. We're left with the ruach and the nefesh. And then on Monday, the ruach leaves, and on Tuesday, the nefesh leaves, and boom, Wednesday comes along, we receive again from the next Shabbos the extra portion of the nefesh. So again, we see that the light.
That was the Gemara? Sorry, what was that?
This is where did I see that concept? Could be the Bnei Sachar. One of these types of Sfir Hasidus. I'm not sure exactly, right? Maybe they Berman Chaim. I'm not sure. So we see again that just one day of the week can spread big light upon the rest of the week. Just like as a side question, did anybody ever thought, when does Shabbat comes in Gan Eden?
Is there time there?
Yeah, tell me. Is there?
Sure.
How do we know?
It's good. If I had to guess. If I had to bet, I would say yes.
Well, Adam and Chava were in Gan Eden,
Yeah, that's the earth, right? The Gan Eden was there on the planet.
but it was moved.
No, they were welcome. I'm not sure. No.
No, when they were expelled,
Ken,
it stayed here on.
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I'm not sure. I'm not qualified to answer those questions.
Mhm.
This has to be Mekubal.
Because when they were there, we know there was Shabbos.
Sure.
So the
Yeah, what I'm
question
talking
is-
about up in the Gan Eden upwards in the heavens.
Mhm.
In the heavens, right? There's a Gan Eden and the Gehenna, right? Somewhere, where simply it's upwards. The upper worlds. Let's call it upper worlds. The concept of Shabbos in the upper worlds is determined. That the Gehenna, hell, ceasefire over Shabbos. That is known. Okay, and then Shabbos comes in the upper world. When does that happen? There's the world, the clock, and the world is like they're different time zones. When does that start? When does the fire cease in the Gehenna? Because the Reshaim, the wicked ones, over Shabbos have menucha, no fire. Esha Gehenom lo oved b'Shabbat.
Could it be like the moon? You know how the days are different there than they are down here?
Could be, but the answer is very simple. I saw in a book, I think the name of the book is Regel Yashara, straight foot. The angels have straight foot, kind of. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but then he writes then that the Shabbos in Gan Eden starts according to the time of Eretz Israel.
Oh.
So when Shabbos in Israel starts, Rabbi say, the fire of Gehenna stops. Can you imagine how does this world look like when the Gehenna stops? Even here. everywhere in the world.
Mm.
So you guys are very fortunate. At 12 or 8, 10 a.m., if you connect to that concept of Shabbos that started back in Israel, so what's the significance for me? I'm living in Toronto. Gehenna stops. Calmness falls down to the world, for sure. Okay, and then, so the only thing is to connect. Remember, 10 a.m. Friday, set your watch, set your phones, 10 a.m., you can start saying good Shabbos. And when does Shabbos leaves, again, we have another midrash. No, midrash was it? What is it? I think there's a midrash that when the last congregation makes Havdalah, then Shabbos, then in the upper world, we have, it starts again, the fire starts again.
Last congregation, what?
In the world.
No, in the world.
In the world. So if you have Australians who are their Motzei Shabbos is far after Toronto's Motzei Shabbos, like another 6 hours? How much? How many hours?
A day.
Another day.
But Hawaii, Honolulu?
Wherever it is.
I know what
No, Honolulu's not so much.
I used to know somebody,
Yeah.
but he used to stop in Toronto, and he used to go to Honolulu for Rosh Hashanah, because it's the latest,
Oh.
he said it's the latest time. He used to daven he used to housing at the Kabbalah of Honolulu.
Pele. Wherever it is, the last congregation would make Havdalah. Then, so again, we're gaining, we're holding the stick in both sides, right? We have extra portion, extra hours of 6.
Maybe it depends on the time of year, because in Alaska, the sun sets very, very late.
Yeah, in Alaska, they talk about it. Jews should not live in Alaska. You know, because they can't determine when is day, when is night, when is Shabbos, when it's like very weird. But whatever it is, it's...
Do you daven chakras? It's already 5 for me.
Yeah,
To daven very quick.
It's like his Hasidism, where it's a rabbi's davening like
Yeah,
a fish.
yeah,
My daddy wasn't there. He couldn't do that to him. Daven Vasikin all the time.
They say Ilan Ramon, the astronaut. I mean, I don't know if it's true.
Oh,
The
yeah,
story they say the story that he wanted to make Kiddush, and he asked when he should make Kiddush Friday night up in space, and he was told, you know, to follow the Eretz Yisrael time.
Beautiful.
It's to verify it.
Nobody
But,
can ask him anymore. They can ask the
Yeah.
Rabbani that he have asked it.
Yeah,
But it makes sense
Yeah.
now. According to what you just read, it makes sense.
yeah.
So if we were discussing cosmic matters, maybe we'll mention another little cosmic matter that I saw in the book of the Bnei Saschar. Tzvi Melech Medinov wrote. He was the son of the maybe the grandchild of the Chab Tzvi. I'm not sure if they're related somewhere. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so he writes down. You know, we remember that we have the days of Tshuva, of Elul, and then Rosh Hashanah comes along. We prepared for Yom Kippur, the Atonement, Yom HaMechila, and then if somebody was not zoiche to do full Tshuva, he still get a chance until Hoshana Rabbah, right? The Kvitlach are coming out of Hoshana Rabbah, and simply that's where the chances are ending. But the Rabbi Tzvi Melech Medina writes down something phenomenal. He writes down that all the ways until Zot Chanukah, from the days of Rosh Hashanah all the way through until today, until Chanukah, and Zot Chanukah, the final day of Chanukah, which is the most powerful day of the Chanukah festival, Yom Tev, there's a chance to do tshuva. And he writes down that he saw or he knows or he realizes that there's a form of a hand up in Shamayim, stretched out. I want to say that is prepared to be mekabel b'tshuva, whoever wants to do tshuva. And that shape of a hand up in Shamayim stays all the way until Zot Chanukah. We still are accepted b'tshuva until that time. We're holding on Tishrei, Cheshvan, Kislev. So another 3 months, right after the Stam Bichlal, if we would start living by the calendar, by the Jewish calendar, and see the dates, the significance of the days, and our life would be much lit up, much more lit up. Rabbi Nachman writes about the Torah Reish Pei Bet. It's a famous teaching that a little bit of good can change the Rasha and make him b'tshuva, right? Makes he can do tshuva. Again, the same concept. A little bit, just a little bit of good can. It's the last story of Likutei Moharan that if a person judge the Rasha favorably, if he finds like a little point of merit that the Rasha have, not that the Rasha, by doing the wrong things, I'm going to say he did the right things. No. The pasuk says, "Hoi haomrim la tov v'la tov ra." Hoi vei to those who say upon the bad, the evil which is good. Because if someone called the evil good, he's going to end up calling the good evil. That's chaos. So we're not justifying the action. It's a wrong action. It's a wrong thing that he did, for sure. But we try to find a point, a nekudat tova that person have in his life. It's like other things that he does. He's generous to the poor. He's, I don't know, maybe he stole something, but he couldn't feed his household, couldn't have food in the house. He had to steal. You try to find a side of schuz in the Rasha, and bazeh shemotzeh b'me'at tov, you find a little bit of goodness in that person, and you judge him favorably. Al yedei zeh, by that you are elevating that person be'emet lekaf zchut, and you can be machzir la'shivoy b'tshuva. It's very powerful. You can control the Rasha or anybody else in the world. Rabbi writes, it's the pasuk in Tehillim, from Tehillim Lamed Zayin 37, the Od Ma'at in Russia, just a little bit, there's no Rasha. You look at his place, he's not longer anymore over there. And then Rabbi Nachal continues to talk about oneself, that also a person have to judge himself favorably. Like you can change the Rasha to become Bal Tshuva, same thing here. V'chen tzarich adam limtzor gam ba'atzmo. Person to do the same thing for himself. Ki ze yadua, it is well known that tzarich ha'adam, person needs to be watched carefully. Lizaher me'od liyas b'simcha tomid. Be always joyful, and to push the sadness very, very, me'od, me'od. So, even when he starts looking at himself and he sees he's not such a aggressive Metzia, and he have some, none of us is the chief rabbi, and even everybody, there's everybody, it's human nature. Humans are not perfect. It's good to know that we cannot be perfect. We're not supposed to be perfect. But when you look at the person, start to look at himself, see that he has no good, he's full of sins, so the Yetzer Hara wants to fail him into sadness and bitterness, then he have to find and to look, to seek within himself, is a me'atov, to look something good that I did in my life. Because how come that I haven't done a mitzvah in my life? And just remind yourself about that mitzvah that you did, and that will, or a good deed, that will pull us from that wickedness, the rishus that we. Besides, so there's the power of the good point, just a little bit of good. But on the other hand, the Baal Shem Tov brings down the concept of the Yad HaKtana. Remember that? The Yad HaKtana is a small hand that can hide a big mountain, a huge mountain.
Really brings it down and put him around, right?
Yeah, but Rabbi Nachman talks about a coin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Oh,
the
the
Baal Shem Tov
hand.
speaks the Yad HaKtana. It's a well-known concept, the Chassidus. A Yad HaKtana, just a small hand, right? Comparing to a huge mountain, what's the size of a small hand? 0.0000. But if you put it over here, you don't see anything. That's it. End of story. But it's a little hand. So Rabbi Nachman takes it further. He says if a person will take a coin and will will hold it close to his eye, he's not going to see anything. If a person is attached to money, to mammon, as a desire, as something that he loves, and he wants to have more and more and more of that, that takes away all his beautiful world away from him. Because he's so busy to get more and more money that smells like very bad smell. What Nachman said that the smell of the money is a very bad smell.
It's also full of germs.
That's why you tap it.
What do you mean?
Because the credit cards, you just tap. You don't even have. There's no
Yeah,
germs
no, so
anymore.
what is it?
It just you just.
Oh, no.
You know the credit.
Yeah, sure, I know it is, but what's the what?
Oh, but she said germs. Germs
like,
are. Yeah, what are germs and?
yeah.
Bacteria.
Yeah, whatever
Oh,
they're.
so no, don't
yeah,
touch
so,
it.
so just tap it and get away.
As again, so, but Rav Koenig, Zecher Tzadik Racha, once told me, he used to talk in public about that even the poor man, even the poor people are sunk, some of them are sunk in the taivas mammon, in the desire for money. How come?
Yeah.
He says to me, Kacha, very important, mark it on your heart. If the poor man, a person who does not have money, feels himself inferior, inferior in the presence of the rich person, that means that he himself is touched and not is unclean with the desire of money. If he thinks that money will make him feel not as good as the person who have money, you have a problem. You have the same taivas mammon like the
he has, and you don't. That's the only. It's the same thing.
Come
It's
on.
the same difference.
Come on. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I hear it.
Therefore, we have to remember that. That's not.
But there is something that's that. When I talks about that a wealthy person, there is something in the money, no?
Fine. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. Rabbi was Mechabed the Shirim.
Yeah.
They have. So yeah,
That's
for
not what
sure.
we're
No,
talking.
we're
That's
not.
not what
We're
you're
not,
feeling inferior.
we're
There.
not coming here to
Right.
put somebody higher or lower.
Right,
But the
right.
thing of loving the money for the sake of the money
Mhm.
causes a problem in the world.
Mhm.
Causes a problem that we cannot feel important enough if you don't have the cash. It's not nachon. It's not true. It's not true.
I mean, on the flip side is Ashiras to Kedusha, right? That Rav Nachman talks about, no? Or Rav Nassim talks about.
Ashiras de Kedusha
Yeah.
can.
Is that referring to? Is that referring to? Is it wealth or is it a wealth of Kedusha? It's like saying,
Yeah.
is he rich in
Yeah, the
Kedusha
tzaddikim-
or is his
Yeah,
wealth?
The tzaddikim elevated that money.
Yeah.
That they could. So I think we're just about to maybe to conclude this little session as something to talk about at the end about the oreganos. Right, we're having Chanukah coming up. This oreganos. Check out, Hashem created the world on the first day, as Hashem said, let there be light. Vayhi or. And then, so there was light, right? The world was lit up, there was light. People maybe could see what we know people then, but you could see on the fourth
If there were
day,
people.
if there were people, they could see supposedly see what's going on. But on the fourth day, Hashem created the sun and the moon and the stars, which play the role until today. So the light that we have today, where is it coming from? From the menorahs, which created on the fourth day. What about the first light that was created back then? It's not the light that we have today. So the Midrash brings down that Hashem saw that there are going to be some Rishonim which will use this light improperly, and therefore Hashem took it and sealed it. He hid it from them to not to use it in the future.
From us.
From everybody. Where did he hide it? In the Torah. The Torah, the Oreganus is still in the Torah. So there was, when we're going to light the Hanukkah, the menorah, in each one's house, just Sunday night, this coming Sunday, we have to remember that the light of the menorah is so elevated that we draw the kedusha of the menorah from Beis Hamikdash. The light of the menorah of Beis Hamikdash was such a light that was not it gave spiritual light to the whole world. This is why the wicks of the menorah by the nace were facing towards the middle, to show that not for the light of the menorah we're needed. We don't need the light, the physical light of the menorah. It's lit up the whole world with soft spiritual light, and that or ruchni that has been lit in the Beis Hamikdash is coming down to each one of us by Chanukah, to our homes, and it goes down lower than 10 tfachim, lower than a meter, because the Shechina, HaKadosh, never went down lower than the Asara Tfachim, but on Chanukah we precisely bring down the Shechina to be lower than the Asara Tfachim, and we bring that light from the Beis Hamikdash. So, and the minhag is to sit and look at the menorah for half an hour. Don't have to talk. You can hum, you can sing, the kids can eat. But if you want to really observe that light of Beis Hamikdash, of the menorah, of the Or HaGanuz, that we are privileged to bring it to our homes, just to sit and look at the menorah, to charge yourself with the kedusha of the Hanukkah. So it's a privilege. So Hashem Yazor shall be zochet to have the light of Hanukkah in every Jewish house, in every Jewish heart, and we all should be happy and healthy, and B'ezras Hashem we meet in Eretz Yisrael B'Koral with the Gula Shleifa.
Amen.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay.
There's some I saw a picture of Rabbi Ken again. It